Hey there, Ron Sullivan, your online hitting consultant. Why do kids drop their hands? Drives dads, coaches crazy, right? So this young man just finished Top Hand Arm Therapy. Top Hand Arm Therapy is a 3-week online program. And him and his dad worked extra hard. This is actually 2 weeks on the right after the therapy, where dad sent me an update and said, hey, we're still working at it. And I think that you can see in 5 weeks' time, this young man, as far as fundamentals, he's, I think, matured his approach about 5 years difference in where he was and where he is now. Just a really great effort. And this came from hard work, folks. I don't have simple drills that just fix it and do it for a couple of weeks and you go to a tournament and light it up. It takes effort, work, time, and all these things. And so top hand arm therapy has really proved to be a pretty good idea for this young man. So why do kids drop their hands, though? That's why you're here. Right, and so I think that you can see originally, right, I'm using a real example of a real life kid giving you why kids drop their hands. And I'm going to be honest right off the bat, I'm a little bit of a weird dude, and so I have to think of things outside of the box a little bit and think about these things different. Right, and so why are kids, well, what's the problem over here first and foremost? Now, this could be a great other portion of the video is just understanding what drag is. Right, drag is for kids. It's a front side dominance issue, right, where they use the front side of their body. Everything on the left side of that line, right, is going to move the back side to the ball. This is why kids are late. This is why you see the elbow drag issue that everybody's aware of these days, right? The elbow is not the problem. Stop trying to get your player to steer an elbow behind their hands. First and foremost, it's front side dominance. So you can get a player to steer their elbow behind the hands with frontside dominance, but it's still going to be frontside dominance. As you can see over on the right, when a player understands the mechanisms that are attached to the bat and what their job is, then suddenly we don't want to bail from the backside. We know where the barrel is, right? The barrel is not pushing towards my front leg. The barrel is back there, right? So when I know what the mechanisms that are attached to the bat are going to do, I'm not going to drop my hands. But that's not why you're here. Why do we drop our hands? All right, this is really important to understand. 90% of kids have this problem. First off, of drag in general. This is how kids naturally move the bat. They use their front side to help move the back side, and so that's what we have to coach them, some better ways to get these things done. But why does he drop his hands? Well, you can't tell this player to not drop his hands. With this current approach, this dropping of the hands is very useful. Now, I didn't say it's mechanically right, and nor do I think it's going to be something that's going to help him grow in the game and get better. But for this current approach, it's a must. All right. So over in top hand arm therapy, what we do is and the reason why I'm not giving a drill for this, because top hand arm therapy actually has a few drills that help bring these things out. So just me giving you a drill wouldn't be very responsible. All right. So what they've worked on was the direction. What we work on is the direction of the arms and hands that hold the bat. Young players really struggle with this. They don't have a concept of this. They're normally dragging with their front side. And so when you give up all emphasis on direction, when you're not taking these mechanisms in some direction and you are front side dominant, then you have to start doing certain things to compensate for that. Right? And so what kids do is they lay the bat down into basically a tunnel. Right? Some people call this getting on plane. It's the wrong idea in this regard anyways. Is they lay the bat down in a general window back here, right? Because I'm going to use this side of my body to determine the direction of the bat. So what they have to do is they have to make certain predictions because they're not taking the bat into a specific direction. They have to lay the bat down in order to hopefully run into the ball. That's really, if you hear what I just said, this is the problem with this approach on the left. Kids 12 and under hitting balls all over the yard with this approach. Right? When they get to the big diamond, you give up all ability to make adjustments when you do things like this. And the game at the big diamond is about adjustments just as much as it is about power, right? But dropping your hands is a necessary component or mechanism for a player that doesn't understand what they're supposed to do. So you can tell this player all day long, stop dropping your hands. It's not a discipline problem. It's a must for the way that he moves the bat right now. I'm frontside dominant, Dad, right? I got to lay it down back here to give myself a chance to run into it. Over here on the right, he's saying, hey, I can manage from up here. I can manage from right here, can I? Now this ball's up and in over here on the right, but it's obvious it's a pitch he probably wouldn't hit. in his original approach, because he can't manage from on top enough because his hands have to drop and collapse, which you see the old disappearing bat trick. This is the real problem with this approach, right? Once you commit to that, it's really hard to take the bat where you need it to go. So if your player is dropping their hands, check to see if they are frontside dominant. See if they have these drag issues. If they do, then I think that you need to work on, if you want to reach out about top hand arm therapy, that's perfect. But you'll notice that there's a couple of things at play here that kids really struggle with. They don't understand, number one, the direction of the top hand arm, right? It's the other hand holding the bat, right? And so this is why you see their kids collapsing as they're dropping into their weight shift, because the top hand that's closest to the barrel, right, has no clue what's going on here. And so you see these issues where the front arm is reaching back and straightening out. Everybody's going, oh, my kid's got arm barring. That arm bar is another blessing rather than as a curse for this approach. It's the only thing creating leverage for the bat. So you got to understand these things. Like, arm barring is not bad for everybody. Now, again, it's not mechanically right in this approach on the left, but for what he's doing, it's absolutely necessary because there is no leverage from the top hand arm. The hand closest to the bat has no idea what's going on there, right? So with that said, dropping your hands I know is a big issue that a lot of you have. Just make sure you're being really fair to your kiddos, right? And understanding why they're doing it. They're not doing it because they're making you mad. They're doing it because they don't know any other way. They have to do this in order to put that bat in that magical slot anywhere from there to there, and hopefully they're going to run into it. Ron Sullivan, your online hitting consultant. Thanks.